Out front now, Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, who is on the Judiciary Committee. And Senator Kennedy, good to have you back on the show. You've said Bob Mueller shouldn't be fired before he finishes his investigation. There was a bipartisan bill to protect him today. Senator McConnell is blocking it. Did he make a mistake?
No, in my opinion anyway, Erin, for two reasons. Number one, I don't believe the bill is constitutional. I don't think the Congress can tell the executive branch who it can hire and fire any more than the executive branch can tell Congress. If the president thinks I'm doing a lousy job on the Appropriations Committee, constitutionally, he can't call the Senate and say, fire Kennedy.
So you think Mueller should be allowed to finish, you just don't think you can do anything about it?
Well, the second reason I think that I'm going to oppose the bill if it does come to the floor is I don't think it's necessary. I just listened to Senator Flake's comments. I love Jeff. He's one of my favorite people. But, you know, I've been hearing for 16 months that the president's going to fire Mr. Mueller. He hasn't fired Mr. Mueller. I don't see any indication that he will fire Mr. Mueller. I don't think Mr. Mueller ought to be fired. I do think he ought to hurry up and finish his investigation. But I don't think you ought to pass a bill just based on someone's opinion of what someone might do. And I just don't. I know the president is fussed about Mr. Mueller, and he's not happy with the investigation. I guess I wouldn't be if I were in his shoes either. But I've seen no indication that he's going to fire Mueller.
All right. I want to ask you about Matt Whitaker, because obviously, you know, the point that Jeff Flake was making was Jeff Sessions was fired. Then you were going to see Mueller. Obviously, the acting replacement for Sessions is Matt Whitaker. Adam Schiff is the Democrat expected to lead the House Intelligence Committee. He was on the show last night, and he told me about why he's worried about Whitaker.
It's entirely possible that Whitaker takes action to interfere with Mueller, to hobble the investigation, but also Whitaker could serve as a back channel to Trump and his lawyers in a way that no matter who fills that job later, you can't undo the damage that is done by compromising the investigation.
So Whitaker could serve as acting attorney general, Senator, for 7 months.
Right.
We understand from sources Mueller's already started to write his report. So it's possible, right, that Whitaker oversees the rest of the Mueller investigation. I mean, in that sense, that, you know, any short period of time that he's there could be incredibly significant and incredibly powerful when it comes to the Russia investigation.
Right. And what I just heard Adam say in your clip there is that Whitaker might, and it may be that Whitaker will do something. Look, here's what I know about Whitaker. He served as a U.S. attorney.
Yes.
He is a lawyer, of course. He has an MBA. He's made some comments about the judiciary in Marbury versus Madison that I don't agree with. But
he's also made a lot of comments about the Russia investigation that he thinks it's a joke. And
that's true. That's true that I don't agree with. But presidents are entitled to surround themselves with advisors of their choice. It doesn't matter if it would be my choice or your choice or anybody's choice. What matters is what the president thinks. Now, I know what Mr. Whitaker has said, but I also know that in Washington, D.C., people talk a lot. I've noticed that. They like to talk. You have to watch what they do.
So you have faith that he won't follow through on that. He won't be a back channel to the White House on the Mueller investigation. The president won't end it, even though he's gotten rid of Sessions. You just have faith.
I have seen no indication whatsoever. I've only seen speculation that Mr. Whitaker might do something. I haven't seen any allegations that he's done something. And given the fact that he is the choice of a duly elected president of the United States, I think we ought to give the guy a chance, let him find the men's room before we start bashing him. It's not like the president appointed, I don't know, Michael Avenatti or Justin Bieber. I mean, the
but
guy.
By your logic, it is the same. Because he has the right to put whomever he wants to be around it. I mean, by the argument you just made, it's his choice.
Well, you have to be a lawyer to be Attorney General.
So Michael Avenatti, I mean, obviously, who knows what he's going to happen with what happens. Michael Avenatti would fit.
You have to be a sane lawyer.
Okay. Let me just ask you one other thing that's important because it's happening tonight, and that is the developments. Mira Ricardel, as you know, being transitioned, Senator is the word that's being used, but out of the White House after the First Lady's unprecedented comments that she made,
right.
that she had to go, and obviously the president had not heeded her requests, and then she put that letter out publicly. He was blindsided by that, apparently. What do you make of that? Should the First Lady have made such a statement weighing in on a West Wing personnel issue via the media?
I think that Mrs. Trump just chose to do publicly what many First Ladies have done privately. Every First Lady that I can remember has made her opinions, or in one case, has made her opinions known to her husband, and she is entitled to.
Absolutely. What do you make, though, of the fact that she did and he did nothing, and then she put this letter out? Does that dysfunction, which I guess is the word for it, is that problematic for you or not?
No. I know Mrs. Trump not well.
Yeah.
She's extraordinarily intelligent. She's observant. She has opinions. And she made her opinion known based on her experience with a staff member to the president. She has every right to do that. I think the only difference between what she's done and other First Ladies have done is that she's decided to be transparent about it and say, hey, let me tell you what I just did and what I think.
Or she wouldn't take no for an answer.
and from that perspective, you know, I kind of congratulate her. I don't think the president, I was listening to what you said earlier. I don't know. I mean, if the president shouldn't feel like he's bossed around.
That's the reporting of how he feels, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, if he does feel that way, you know, don't worry about it, Mr. President. I feel bossed around sometimes, and I love my wife to death, but in my marriage, I can be right or I can be happy. I can't be both. It doesn't bother me. I'm happy to have my spouse weigh in when she sees me doing something wrong, and I suspect the president feels the same way about Mrs. Trump. But all she did, in my opinion, she just did publicly what other First Ladies have done privately.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, Senator.
Thank you.